If you've been out and about in the last 2 months, you would have seen and used these QR codes set up all over Singapore for people to check in and out of places.
From Friday, the SafeEntry system and the TraceTogether app will play an even bigger role as more people leave their homes to go about with their daily activities. When used together, contact tracing will be more efficient and accurate.
In early June, users of the TraceTogether app had to key in their NRIC numbers. While this is a new requirement for the app, IC numbers have been used in the SafeEntry system all along.
For SafeEntry, users scan a QR code and key in their IC and contact numbers to check in and out of a place. This will log the times that they enter and leave a place.
Meanwhile, TraceTogether is an app that estimates the approximate distance between people as well as the duration of their encounters using the signal strengths of their devices. The use of NRIC data in the two systems allows for quicker contact tracing as it's linked to other information such as home address and alternative phone numbers.
We're now joined by tech correspondent Yip Wai Yee, who will tell us more about how the two platforms are used together. Wai, for a start, how different are the two systems and why are both necessary to be used at the same time?
So the two are actually very different. SafeEntry, as I think a lot of people know who have been going out to supermarkets and malls and all that, it's required for you to check in and check out of a location. So actually what SafeEntry does is it helps contact tracers to find out where the potential clusters is. And so, sometimes the government will publish information on where some of these public places are that confirmed COVID-19 cases have been to, so that and that data was taken from SafeEntry when they checked in. Meanwhile, TraceTogether, which relies on Bluetooth signals, this one is about proximity data around you. So if I have TraceTogether and you have TraceTogether and we're near each other, our phones or devices will exchange Bluetooth signals, and then that is how the contact tracers will use these Bluetooth signals information to find out if you are considered a close contact of a person. So how close you are to a person and also how long your duration was with the confirmed case.
Right. Well, Wai Yee, if both TraceTogether and SafeEntry are supposed to work very symbiotically, why does the TraceTogether app need our NRIC data as well? And I guess another question is, how does having this data in the TraceTogether app help in bolstering the contact tracing process?
Yeah, so actually, I think a lot of people have that misconception that maybe the two are just one big system, and they're actually two entirely different systems. So even though, yes, the government has our information, our NRC information from SafeEntry right now, they don't have it on TraceTogether because when we had registered on TraceTogether, we had only used our mobile numbers beforehand. So now they're hoping that with NRIC numbers, it's much more of an assurance of who the person is. Because the thing about mobile numbers is, I think people do sometimes change their numbers quite often, or I think there are cases of some families where they even share numbers, like home numbers or mobile numbers. And so with an NRIC number, which is much more unique to each person, it's a much more higher degree of identity assurance. So we know exactly who that person is. And that's very important. If you're going to issue a quarantine order to someone for them to stay at home, you can't be issuing it to the wrong person. And another aspect that's good about having an NRC number is that in case your phones are switched off or if your phone numbers change, the government can still come and find you and inform you if you have been in close contact, because your NRC number would be linked to, let's say, your home address or maybe alternate emergency contacts. So they need to be able to get in touch with you very quickly so that they can isolate you.
Right, so there are multiple access in terms of contacting the person that you need to contact, yeah? And what about iPhone users? So for like myself, I'm an iPhone user, and I found that the TraceTogether app doesn't quite work very well with my iPhone.
Yeah, that's a problem actually that all Apple users would have faced, because that's something to do with the iOS system. So what happens is when you use an Apple device and you're running an app in the background, it will stop scanning for Bluetooth signals. And that would obviously be problematic, because if I'm outside and I'm using TraceTogether, but I want to use other apps, so I run it in the background and it stops scanning, then it won't know who is near me, or we cannot exchange Bluetooth signals that way. So, but don't worry, Apple users, I think going forward, will be able to probably get a wearable device called a TraceTogether token. So the government is working on rolling them out, the first batch at least by the end of this month. And I'm not really sure, they haven't really announced the details on collection and all that, but that is supposed to be an alternate way to use TraceTogether if your Apple devices don't work.
Well, thank you so much, Wai Yee, for taking time to share a bit more on these two platforms, SafeEntry as well as the TraceTogether app. We were speaking to tech correspondent Yip Wai Yee on how SafeEntry and TraceTogether work together for a more robust contact tracing process.